In 2022, Case and Best, an American serviceman stationed near the Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Base in the US, sees something in the sky, an object he can't identify. He's not alone. No, other military colleagues also witnessed the scene. He does what any responsible soldier should do. He tries to report it. But here's the thing, his reports disappear, and his superiors make it clear that it's better to keep quiet. Welcome, everyone. This video is recorded as part of a TikTok live on the UFO Section 51 account. I'm Dose Geek, and I'm very happy to welcome you once again in this video. Today, we're going to talk about new information that just surfaced on social media. This is brand new, just from the last 24 to 48 hours. First, we're going to check out a short video together, filmed in Canada at the end of August. You'll see, it's pretty intriguing, pretty incredible. You can clearly see there's something in the sky, a really mysterious glow. The video lasts quite a while. Plus, there are audio comments. We're going to check all that out together before moving on to the most important topic of this video, which is the new testimony from a US military veteran, specifically a former American intelligence officer, who stated in an interview on the News Nation channel that he witnessed a UFO sighting along with other military colleagues in February 2022. We're going to go over his testimony together. So, let's start with the first topic. This is a new video that was filmed in Bathurst, New Brunswick, Canada, on August 28th at 3:13 in the morning.
My videos, you should see the picture I got on here.
Because you can enlarge it right there, right?
Oh yeah.
So, you don't see what it is with the enlargement?
It just looks like a ball. Come see it on my phone. Oh, where to go?
Too bad I don't have my fucking binoculars with me.
Yeah.
I got a strong pair of binoculars.
That's giving off a lot of light.
Yeah. Camera. Is it camera or video? Camera, and then...
I'm gonna zoom in again. The highway
A video that lasts about a minute. We see an object that seems to be spinning with different beams of light. It's pretty strange. 3:13 in the morning, August 28th in Bathurst, New Brunswick, Canada. The tallest building in our city is about 100 to 150 feet at most. And this thing is above the bay, maybe over the ocean, so they're right by the sea. So, it's definitely flying and the light was much brighter, but less hazy in person. It should have made me squint, or at least tear up, but I could look straight at it like it was made with some other kind of light technology. So apparently the light wasn't blinding. The phone made it look dimmer and harder to see. It looks like it's an object that, was spinning on itself. Obviously, there are comments. Someone asking her to take a picture of the area during the day to compare, to see if there's a lighthouse in the distance. Given the comment, it could make you think of a lighthouse, since the light doesn't move, except for spinning on itself. If it were moving to the side or something, but no, it seems to be stationary. Given how bright it is, if it were a drone, it would use a lot of energy, and the only way it could stay in the air, even with the best batteries, would be to stay very close to its controller. And on top of that, you would hear the drone's noise, so I don't think it's a drone. Someone commented to us, I'm from the maritime area and there's no lighthouse in Bathurst, New Brunswick. The Canadian lighthouses that are still active, the few that remain, usually have lights that appear to blink, because half of the bulb is a reflector. I've never seen a ship with continuous orange lights that rotate. So I'm also wondering about that ringing sound. Drones are possible, but why would there be a rotating beacon? That doesn't seem realistic for a drone to me. Also, I doubt it's legal for commercial drones to operate at night. There's a webcam that exists. You can look it up on Google. That overlooks the city of Bathurst. In my opinion, that's a really strange thing to see in the sky over New Brunswick. Things aren't usually that big and don't typically behave like that. This answer is quite interesting because it's from someone who seems to live there and confirms for us that there's no lighthouse that could be producing that light. There might be 3 or 4 beams of light. And obviously, once again, we don't have the end of the video. The end of the video could help us understand whether this video is authentic or not, meaning the moment when the object disappears from view. That's really a key moment in a UFO sighting, because here, in fact, we don't have the end of the video, so we don't know how the scene ends. So it's going to be difficult to have an objective opinion about this kind of video. This video was quite interesting, which is why I wanted to share it with you. It's still pretty complicated to explain. I don't think the video itself is faked with digital effects. If there's any trickery, it might be something done on site with a lighting effect, a luminous object on location that could be motorized, spinning in the sky. It can't be a drone, and at first glance, it can't be a lighthouse either. Or maybe it was filmed somewhere else in Canada and the person is possibly lying about the exact location, you know. That's possible. But again, when it comes to videos like this where we don't have the ending, we can give you all the details possible. If we don't have the end of the video, it's pretty complicated to authenticate it. Now, let's move on to the other news.
Do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
Do you believe that our government is in possession of UAPs?
Absolutely, based on interviewing over 40 witnesses over 4 years. Biologics came with some of these recoveries.
Oh my gosh, dude.
This is the case of an American intelligence officer named Cason Best, who very recently gave testimony during an interview conducted by Ross Coulthart on the YouTube channel News Nation. During this interview, he stated that he witnessed a UFO sighting along with other soldiers near the Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Base in the USA. In 2022, Cason Best, an American serviceman stationed near the Cheyenne Mountain Space Force Base in the USA, saw something in the sky, an object he couldn't identify. He wasn't alone. No, other military colleagues also witnessed the scene. So, he did what any responsible soldier should do. He tried to report it. But then, his reports disappeared, his words were censored, and his superiors made it clear that he was better off keeping quiet. Why? What did he see that was so important, or maybe so dangerous? And above all, why has there been this systematic silence for decades? Now, I'm going to play you the audio from this interview.
Of the mountain, and when we got to the top of the hill, already over the mountain and kind of naturally in our field of view when we got to that location was the UAP. It's hard to describe. Even now, just a few years later, it was unlike anything that I frankly could have made up, and I'm not the most creative person, but it was a massive, perfectly still elliptical object, and the stillness was just shocking. Like it was almost tied to a fixed point in space. I would guess maybe 300 feet at least. Elliptical like this, white in color, comprised of these uniform panels that seemed to be all pentagons, but were all irregularly shaped. They were joined at the seams, the linear seams. And these irregularly shaped but uniform in area pentagonal panels were like a mother of pearl or a white ceramic color, and it was a perfect sunny Colorado bluebird day, 50 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, and you could see these panels move as they kind of glisten in the sun. And again, they were kind of seamed at the linear edges of all of them. It was in a pattern that just did not make sense. You could see the panels that comprise the objects kind of rippling. You could see the edges of the object move as the panels rippled. But the object itself was perfectly stationary. It was a humbling experience. I mean, this object was just so unlike anything I could have ever imagined. Like, I can relate to the whole thought process of being a caveman and seeing an iPhone for the first time. It was just a shocking object. Just the engineering of it was incredible. Like, this thing was beautifully designed, but almost incomprehensible.
Interesting. And what happened next reveals how American institutions, or institutions in general and many other countries, betray those who serve them. Here are a few lines from his testimony. A massive elliptical object, perfectly still, and the panels of the object seem to move and ripple. Pentagonal panels. The day after the sighting, Case and Best filed an official intelligence report with corroborating testimonies. And when he tries to write a report, his access is blocked. When he goes to speak about it publicly, certain parts of his testimony are censored. So officially, nothing happened. But why would the American military suppress the testimony of one of its own men? The information channels were stifled. The official responses were dismissive. Yet, this was one of the most sensitive security sites in the United States. It's not the first time that, especially in the United States, people have tried to cover up the truth or suppress testimonies from people who have seen strange things in the sky. For example, in the 1950s, the famous Robertson panel, organized by the CIA, had already concluded that UFOs did not pose a direct threat, but instead recommended ridiculing the subject to avoid panic. From that moment on, every pilot, every military member who dared to talk about UFOs was discredited. So, is it just disinformation or a deliberate attempt to bury the truth? Among these numerous UFO testimonies, there's this military man from 2022, Case and Best. Case and Best is not the only military member to have witnessed a UFO sighting. In 2023, there's David Grush. You know David Grush, who testified before the US Congress, a former intelligence officer, who also stated before Congress that a secret program was set up to recover and study non-human craft. There's also Luis Elizondo, who led a Pentagon program on aerial phenomena, who also talks about a real cabal that systematically intimidates and silences those who know too much. And more recently, during public hearings in Washington, several witnesses testified, again, under oath on the Bible, about how their emails were deleted, their investigations blocked, and their lives threatened, all for speaking out about UFOs. Why this silence? Why hide all these phenomena? There are several theories circulating that could explain this desire to hide the truth from the public and even from government officials. National security. If an unknown object flies over a nuclear base, it's better to keep that information secret than to admit a weakness. The question of technology. And what if some of these craft weren't extraterrestrial in origin, but maybe human or ultra-secret, coming from another nation? Could they be prototypes of weapons or new surveillance technologies developed by a rival nation? In any case, when these new technologies are discovered, it's better to keep the study of these prototypes secret, hoping to one day gain a potential technological advantage that these devices might provide. The last hypothesis, fear of the social impact. Indeed, one of the major fears of our leaders or the organizations in charge in each country is that acknowledging the existence of extraterrestrial life would mean publicly admitting that we are not alone or that we do not control our own airspace. It would also confirm that governments deliberately lie or hide the truth from the public. Public trust would be seriously shaken. This new paradigm could deeply unsettle society as a whole. This obviously raises an uncomfortable question. Who has the right to know? Does the entire population have the right to know everything about state affairs? Or, on the contrary, does the state have the right to hide certain truths in order to preserve social peace? If the truth exists, is it really up to just a handful of generals and politicians to keep it to themselves? And in those cases, are they really protecting us? Or rather, are they manipulating us? From this question of who has the right to know, other crucial questions will arise, questions upon which the very pillars of our society rest. And if one day, of course, we had that revelation, the great disclosure about the existence of extraterrestrial life among us, would we be ready to accept it? Do things really change? Maybe. We can see that things are moving forward, little by little. But remember, the problem is that, especially when it comes to ufology, every time we think we're about to uncover the truth, new areas of uncertainty appear. And that's what's crazy about this field. You're always just a hair's breadth away from discovering something huge. In the end, we realize we're putting our finger into a gear, into something endless, and it just opens doors to other doors that remain closed. And actually, curiosity is never satisfied. We always want to know more. And the problem is, we realize there are still so many things left to discover. It's kind of like not seeing the forest for the trees. What should we think of a system that, for more than 70 years, has preferred to stay silent rather than admit the unadmittable? For me, I want to say, the question remains open to this day. And personally, I'm still convinced that things are being hidden from us, and that in many countries, political power still can't control everything. We live in a modern society built around systems so complex that it's almost inevitable for organizations or structures to have complete freedom to secretly carry out recovery operations, studies, research, and development on extraterrestrial technologies without ever being bothered by any kind of audit from the government or the public. To sum up, the system has become so complex that it's now almost completely opaque. And in all this complexity, in this artificial fog, it's very easy today for these secret entities, these somewhat shadowy organizations, to conduct their business in secret and with complete peace of mind for years. The technological advantage gained from such experiments on exotic, non-human materials, let's say extraterrestrial, on things never seen before, it's true that this can grant real financial power. In reality, any innovation allows one to hold a true monopoly, to rake in profits, and therefore always gain more power for the entity that possesses this kind of innovative technology. Under these conditions, it's actually very easy to influence political power, military power, and also, in a way, to impose censorship. This explains why we have testimonies from American military personnel like the one we just looked at today, which are quickly censored by the hierarchy. And you, what do you think about all this? Is the truth too dangerous to be revealed? Do you think it's better not to know too much? Does silence protect us? Or should they tell us everything? Should they reveal the whole truth to us? It's a bit like the blue pill in the Matrix. Once you've set foot in the gears, it's going to be hard to turn back. You have to be ready to face the consequences of that choice, ready to accept the consequences of deciding to move forward into the unknown, and whatever you might discover there. So, are you one of those people who think it's better not to know, and just let things be? Or are you more on the opposite side? Share your thoughts in the comments below this video. I invite you to keep your eyes on the sky. Sending you big hugs.
Longue vie et prospérité.